Hello there, folks. My name is Spoonks, and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see how well each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 was Death of a Unicorn, opening with $5.7 million this weekend domestically. That total stays the same worldwide as it hasn't been released in any international countries yet. Yeah, about what I expected this movie to do. It would crack the top 5, but not do a lot of damage to it. I'll give it this. It definitely made a bit more than I thought it would. I honestly did not think it would crack $5 million, which is actually a pretty solid debut for the film. This movie was actually only $15 million to make, so maybe A24 has a sleeper hit on their hands if word of mouth is good. It taps into that niche audience that maybe The Monkey did, but still, these aren't like groundbreaking numbers. I'm sure they were hoping for a little bit more, maybe to tap into, like I said previously, what The Monkey did, just that curiosity factor with audiences for the premise and just the bizarre nature of the film. But I just don't think they were able to sell it as well. It didn't have as big of a marketing push that I thought they should have given this movie. I saw a couple promos here and there, but nothing too out of the ordinary, too grand or anything, and the word of mouth does not seem to be translating very well. It got a B- on Cinema Score, which isn't bad for this type of movie, but I'm not sure if it's going to lead to anything spectacular. This isn't anything like great or exceeding expectations. This is still a bit iffy. We'll see where it goes from here, but again, it's not like it needs a lot of money to make back, so best case scenario, I think it makes back its budget, kind of like what's happening with the new Looney Tunes movie out right now. But I'm just not expecting a whole lot else for this movie. Unfortunately, maybe this turns its ship around, but things aren't so great for this movie right now. Not terrible by any means, but nothing too special either for Death of a Unicorn. Number 4 was The Woman in the Yard, opening with $9.3 million this weekend domestically. Like Death of the Unicorn, no international numbers, so the worldwide numbers stay the same. This, on the other hand, did slightly better than I thought it would, actually. The fact that it almost got to double digits is really impressive. It shows that there was certainly more interest in this movie than I thought, because I felt like the interest and buzz with this movie beforehand was really, really low. I didn't see a lot of people talking about it, but clearly there was enough people who wanted to go check it out this weekend, and because of that, it had a really successful opening, since the movie is only $12 million to make, so I'm sure within the next couple days it'll be able to make that back, and the hope is that this turns out to be a sleeper hit for Blumhouse. They certainly need one after the disaster that was Wolfman earlier this year, but unfortunately, I'm not sure if it's going to be able to do that. It will make its budget back without a shadow of a doubt. Hell, it might be able to double it, but the response has been very poor, reviews very mixed, and audiences even worse. It got a C- on Cinema Score, which is actually on par with what Wolfman got, so people aren't really liking this movie either, so yeah, definitely cause for concern there. But still, though, it had a much more successful opening than Wolfman, so there's that, I guess. So it'll be able to be much more of a success and less of a big disappointment for them than that. But still, nothing great. I'm sure they were hoping for at least something bigger here, and maybe something that would give hope that this would turn it around. But again, the word of mouth does not seem to be too great with this movie, unfortunately. So we'll see where it goes. Again, maybe it turns this ship around, maybe it's able to spin this around, but I'm not sure given the word of mouth. But still, though, as far as its opening, this ain't too bad. Number 3 was The Chosen Last Supper Part 1, opening with $11 million this weekend domestically. Like the previously two mentioned movies, no international numbers, worldwide total stays the same. Once again, The Chosen takes me by surprise. They're able to just sneak up past me. I don't know how they're able to do it, but upon research, this is once again like the other quote-unquote movies. This is just another batch of episodes from The Chosen being released in theaters, and the fans really wanting to go show out. Like I said, with the other batch of episodes released in theaters beforehand, the fans are dedicated and they are willing to pay top dollar to see these episodes on the big screen, and it certainly is working out for this show, as this is going to be a weekly event in 3 parts. Each week will be another batch of episodes leading up to Easter, so part 2 comes out this week, part 3 next week, so don't be surprised if we see more of The Chosen within these upcoming weeks for sure. I'm sure it's again a lot of the fans are gonna rush out to see these episodes on the big screen. They clearly have a passion and love for the show, and the timing of it being around Easter was chef's kiss. That's actually pretty smart on the show's part there. So yeah, just not really much to say here, since this is just going to be a weekly thing, episodes being released in theaters, the fans coming out. I'm probably going to sound like a broken record, but this is a good start to that batch. Hopefully more of the fans keep showing up with each week, but if they remain consistent, I think the show will do just fine. Number 2 was Snow White, making $14 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $66 million and its worldwide total to $142 million. Folks, the story for Snow White just keeps getting worse and worse, ladies and gentlemen. Granted, it'll probably get close to 100 million domestically. It's gonna crack 150 million worldwide. That's really good. Those are a couple of milestones, but yeah, just everything around this movie has just not been great. It had a terrible second weekend drop, falling 66%, which is actually bigger than what Dogman did, and at least Dogman had to deal with the Super Bowl. What did this movie have to deal with? And the word of mouth has just been largely negative, maybe even too negative. There are people who are definitely overblowing how bad this movie is. It's not the worst movie ever made. Let's all calm down with that. But still, though, the word of mouth is spreading. The people are saying it's not very good, and less people are going to see it, and it's only going to get worse from this point forward. Unfortunately, with a new big kids movie this weekend, I doubt it's gonna be able to make up for that. And with the budgets, again, even more reports are coming around saying that it's even bigger than we thought it was before. Some said it was 240, others said 270. Now people are saying it's even around 350, which is insane for a Snow White movie. I get this was affected by the writers and actors strike, but like, my goodness, I just don't see this movie, getting any sort of help, having any sort of rebound for itself after this. This is just a really bad performance. I think this is like a John Carter level or even Lone Ranger level disaster. Fortunately, Disney will probably bounce back with Lilo and Stitch and Zootopia 2 and Avatar after this, but yeah, not a great start for them with this, unfortunately. Just an all-around disaster. And finally, let's end the video off with the number 1 movie of the weekend, which was A Working Man, opening with $15 million this weekend domestically and $32 million worldwide. This is the 5th biggest opening of the year so far, topping Den of Thieves 2, The Monkey, Paddington in Peru, One of Them Days, and Flight Risk, but it still sits behind Mickey 17, Dogman, Snow White, and Captain America Brave New World. This honestly did better than I thought it would. There was some concern, I said last week, over the buzz. I didn't see too many people talking about it. I saw a couple people getting the word out, but I didn't think it was going to be like everybody was going to rush out to see it. And while that's definitely not the case, this far exceeded my expectations, certainly. Jason Statham is still one of the few movie stars who can bring people to the theater. He clearly has a devoted fan base, and he picks the right movies that get them interested. And because of that, it had a really solid opening here, as it's made a majority of its $40 million budget back worldwide. It's definitely going to make that budget back by the end of the week, and I'm certain that this is probably going to be a sleeper hit for MGM, as there's not a lot of action thrillers quite like this. I know The Amateur is also another action thriller, but given the types of movies and those stories and premises and the tones they're going for, they're definitely not, it's not an apples to apples comparison, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the marketing was really solid. People got the word out. They certainly got the word out. People were very interested in the movie, and like I said, I think this could be a sleeper hit if the word of mouth is better than what it seems to be, as it is not as kind as what The Beekeeper was. This movie got a B on CinemaScore, Beekeeper, funny enough, got a B plus, so not as good. It didn't reach the high standards of the Beekeeper, so that's going to be interesting to see where this movie goes. If it's front loaded, if people aren't with this movie as much as the other ones Jason Statham has been in, going to be interesting to see where this legs out. But I think we're going to see a solid turnout for this movie. Again, it seems like Jason Statham knows how to bring people to the theater, and this movie did its job for some people. And overall, just a solid opening altogether. We'll see where it goes from here. Definitely going to be interesting if it can keep this momentum up for throughout the rest of its theatrical run. But yeah, so far so good. The opening for A Working Man is really solid. And those were your top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend, but we're not quite done yet as we got another week ahead of us and new movies hitting theaters. And this weekend we have one new major wide release, that film being a Minecraft movie, the live-action feature-length film adaptation of the beloved game of the same name, minus the and movie part of the title. You know what I mean. This, I think, is definitely going to be the big opening and box office performance we've been hoping for, that we've been missing out from movies like Mickey 17 and Snow White. I'm not sure if it's going to reach the heights of Captain America, but I think it's going to get very close. Minecraft is just, again, like I said, the beloved and one of the most popular video games out there. It's kind of crazy how it stood the test of time. You thought with a game like this, it peaked for a while, but it seemed like it was going to die down. But no, it's stayed around for a very long time. It's still popular with kids and gamers out there, and I'm sure a lot of those people are gonna go out and see it. You know, kids who played the game in the early days, who are now older, want to go check it out, and the kids who are new to the game now and just want to see it on the big screen. I think a lot of those people are gonna really rush out to see it. Obviously, families, with this being the new big family movie out right now, I think it's going to appeal to them as well. And you know, the buzz is certainly there as well, with how, even though that first trailer got some bad first impressions, people have seemed to warm up to it with more of the footage being revealed for the movie, and you know, more trailers being released. People seem to be more open and interested in this movie than they did when the first trailer dropped. The only concern is if this movie is another Snow White, if it's not very good and doesn't live up to expectations, then I think this movie's gonna stumble for weeks to come. But also, given the fact that it'll be the only like kids movie out until probably Lilo and Stitch in Memorial Day weekend, I think this is going to have some strong legs. Yeah, overall, I'm expecting a lot for a Minecraft movie. Nothing to the degree of like Mario or even Five Nights at Freddy's, but maybe somewhere around the Sonic movie levels, I think will definitely be satisfactory. So yeah, I'm expecting a really solid opening for a Minecraft movie, but we'll see how well this movie truly does, as well as the rest of the movies that land in the top 5 on the next Box Office Chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all those social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.